Hello, my name is Ashley Ano, and this is my presentation entitled Poverty and the Issue of Homelessness. Why should I care? Homelessness is a common and widespread issue in the United States of America and in many other places around the world. This is the reason why the subject is important to learn about and to understand and to find possible solutions to, because anybody can be in the situation where they become homeless, and homelessness are just people that have gone through um, unfortunate life circumstances, and everybody starts from somewhere before losing their housing or their access to proper shelter and basic needs. According to Caring Works Inc., the causes of homelessness vary, but the most common are economic challenges, domestic violence, family issues, chronic health conditions, substance abuse, mental illness, PTSD, and the lack of affordable housing. Almost everyone knows someone who is touched by these conditions. However, many of us have natural support systems that help us through difficult times. But what happens when those support systems fail? As one client said, everyone is one serious, prolonged illness away from homelessness. Some notable figures that were once homeless are Jim Carrey, Dr. Phil, Jennifer Lopez, Steve Harvey, Drew Carey, the football player Michael Orr, and many other people have been homeless before somebody found them and decided that they were worth giving the chance to grow. So sometimes it takes one person to be able to change the life of somebody who is homeless or like is living in impoverished situations, and to help somebody who needs it. And knowing and having knowledge on homelessness and the statistics and the things that go along with it are the reasons why people are homeless gives you more of understanding of the problem to be able to create effective solutions to the problem. What is homelessness? In the United States, many people live in poverty. As a result of the epidemic, many face struggles when trying to access adequate health care, food security, access to higher education, and transportation. For this presentation, I'll be discussing the issue of homelessness in relation to the issue of poverty in the United States. According to the NCBI, National Center for Biotechnology Information, the United Nations continues to identify homelessness as an urgent human rights crisis. Definitions vary, but homelessness generally refers to the lack of safe accommodations necessary for respite and connection with people and places. Homelessness includes living on the streets or in shelters, as well as patterns of having house insecurity, such as overcrowding and excessive cost burden. Statistics. In the United States, 2.5 to 3.5 million Americans live in emergency accommodation. 7.5 million Americans lose their house each year. The top four contributing factors to homelessness is the lack of housing, number two, unemployment, number three, poverty, and number four, low wages. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, people experiencing chronic homelessness belong to a group that is singled out for attention. They usually have disabilities, and they are usually, the criteria for that is if you've been homeless 4 times within the last 3 years, and other things to consider whether you are in the chronic homelessness category. They make up 19% of the population, according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness 2022 article. Who's most at risk? Males are usually at risk of becoming homeless every year, with 100,000 men and 22 women being homeless, making 70% of the homeless population men. 48% of all those experiencing homelessness are white, which makes up the majority of the demographics of people who are homeless. In terms of race, then 89.7% of homeless persons are 21 years old or more, which is the age range for most of the people who are homeless. Misconceptions about homelessness. The first myth or opinion is homeless people do not deserve my help. That would be an opinion. Fact. Homeless people are affected by social factors and structures in the society that prevents them from being able to make decent living or struggle. The perception around homeless people is largely shaped by social inequalities that legitimizes such ideologies that a disadvantaged population and blames them for their misfortunes. Number 2, homeless people are lazy and don't want to do any work but benefit off of people's money. Why don't they just work hard and get out of poverty? Fact. Many of the homeless population work in the society that we live in and contribute to the society and volunteer in different initiatives. In the society we live in with stagnant wages, increasing housing costs, people are left with not enough, even though they may be productive citizens. Due to social factors, many do not choose to be homeless. So it's not a choice for many people to be homeless. And according to a source by Ravenscraft 2015, he states, I like 6.8 million Americans, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, had to work multiple jobs to get by. I didn't have enough time to be healthy, and I didn't have enough money to save money. Cheap cars cost more to repair, and public transportation is a time suck. Having a job doesn't mean much if you can't get to your job. Owning a car is expensive. After you've paid the initial cost, public transit may be more accommodating to lower income tiers, but it isn't always available in every city. In this text, he talks about the struggles of being homeless and with even transportation. Even though he worked several jobs, he couldn't. It was hard to find suitable transportation or access that because the expenses of cars and fixing it and transportation. And this text comes from the article that being poor is expensive. 3, people who are homeless are violent, dangerous, and are lawbreakers. According to the Commerce WA.gov, a person who is homeless is no more likely to be a criminal than a house person with a legal exception camping ordinance, with exception to camping ordinances. People who are homeless break the law merely by being homeless. A person who is homeless is less likely to perpetuate a violent crime than a house person, and is in fact more likely to be a victim of a violent crime, especially if they're a woman or a teenager. Solutions. Some solutions to the issue of homelessness in the society that we live in is creating affordable long-term housing options for people who need it so that they can have secure places to stay. Outreach, which is reaching out to people who are at risk of losing their housing or are in emergency situations that will put them at risk of being homeless. Providing emergency assistance for people who are at risk of eviction. People who are evicted from their homes can be at risk of being evicted. Having the resources to be able to get out of the situation before it happens is useful. That increasing the employment will help the wage gap, and increased housing costs could help to be able to have enough to comfortably live without being homeless. In conclusion, In the society that we live in, homelessness is a prevalent issue. There are many misconceptions about homelessness due to the way that it's projected in the society, and there are many difficulties and complexities for the reason why homelessness happens and as it relates to the issue of poverty. Social factors contribute to the lack of safe and secure housing and security, and it can be solved by the increased wages, employment opportunities, housing assistance to help people in need, and outreaching to see people who are at risk to prevent homelessness before it occurs. We can all work together to combat homelessness in our society with small acts of kindness that can go a long way, and should understand that homelessness could happen to anybody. Thank you.